Justice and Matt, welcome back. We're still working out a few kinks, if you can't tell.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Yeah. So we had you guys on, was it about a month ago? A little over a month? We had you on talking about your... Was it about a month ago? A little over a month? We had you on talking about your... Was it about a month ago? A little over a month? Pause that. We had you on talking about...
A little feedback in the loop. We got some squirrels, some bats.
All right. So,
Mosses.
yeah, we talked a little over a month ago. Went to a tournament. I know I had a blast. All I was doing was filming there. Shot a bunch of pictures, mostly. Had a couple cameras set up. Got some footage. Was hoping to get an ace.
Mm-hmm.
Picked the wrong baskets, of course.
Of course.
I mean, when you have 18 to choose from, what do you expect? You know. But yeah, we had a really good time, and I'm pretty sure Jim had a good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime Jim there, it's a good time.
Yeah,
So,
always.
It's up to him if he has a good time.
That's
Jim, I
right.
just got to know, did you throw a heart?
I threw a lot of them.
A lot of
Good,
hard
good.
Yeah, it saved me many
Oh,
times.
see,
bet.
now I know why you were up there in that tie for second place.
Yep, I blew it right at the end.
Oh man,
That
It
happens.
was a great day. That was probably one of the best rounds I think I've ever had. So
good.
Yeah.
thank you guys for
I'll tell
putting
you
it
one
on.
I'm
thing.
glad we designed the course just for you. You know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing about that round, that first round. It was hot.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
so hot that
Everybody was jealous of my hat.
I tried to
I
find a
was
shade.
jealous of
Yeah,
that.
me too. I've been looking for one that fits my big head since.
Thankfully, the wind picked up in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
that
Yeah.
second round, it went a lot quicker and wind
man,
picked up.
Yeah, we were flowing.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
first round, though, it was slow. People were using all their mulligans.
Yeah.
Everybody
yeah.
trying to get 18, and
Yeah. Yeah, I sat there and filmed at least 2 or 3 cards. Was that 18 that was in that little grass patch?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least like 3 or 4 cards on the first round, and I know, like out of the 3 or 4 cards, at least I bet 9 people used all their mulligans, every one of them. Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know why
funny
they
to
used
watch.
them all in the first round.
I know.
But, not wait till the second round, but whatever.
That's a good point because you'd be warmed up and like
Exactly,
probably
yeah.
more likely to throw something
Yeah.
in. Yeah, that makes sense. But it was so fun to watch because I couldn't tell you how many of them like either hit chains or like the basket or the top or
Oh, yeah.
I mean they were all over it. Especially the ones that were throwing like 8 shots all at one time. They would hit it at least 3 times.
that one guy he had 10 mulligans. He said, "I used all 10 on 18 in the first round," and he said he
Yeah.
hit the top and then hit the bottom.
He did.
So,
I filmed him.
So it's
Yeah.
I think that was Dustin.
Yeah.
He said he,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
went right. He said he went right through the chains at one point.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He hit it 3 times. He hit top, bottom, and went through the chains. And the one that went through the
Ooh.
chains, like it should have definitely stuck. Yeah, dreaming.
I think Boozer used 5 mulligans here.
I mean, we put that hole up. We wanted it to be gettable, but also
But if you go
a
for
bit
it,
of a challenge.
you're
because-
going out of bounds,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, if you backhand a shot, right hand, you got to go up over that fence, which is a challenge in itself. And then if you're forehanding it, that sign, I mean, you see the sign there. It's right in your way.
Oh yeah.
So you gotta.
I think my favorite part too, watching the people throwing all the shots, was that they had to use their last throw.
Yeah.
And so, like, I couldn't tell you how many times I think, like, they get to, like, if they had 9, mulligans, they'd get to number 8 and think, I don't know if I want to throw this last one.
yeah.
They had to
I
think
just
real
made an OB,
hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had a parked one, but I didn't make it, so I
Right.
did it again. And now I'm like, oh, now I made myself OB. And that whole, and when we were working on lining stuff up, of course, we're all our own level of creative genius on these things. Well, of course, I had this idea like, hey man, like let's not make it like too short. Let's go a little longer. He goes, I don't know, let's make it short, but we gotta go right over the fence. And it was like, we finally had to like, okay, what? Because we both we want, like you said, we want it to be gettable, but it's like also,
Yeah.
man, like I don't want to walk up here and that first person be like, well, I got it. So
Yeah,
that was
right.
definitely kind of a give and take. But it ended up, we were surprised no one did get it. That's
I
what,
was surprised.
Yeah,
I
it's-
was definitely surprised with all the shots that were thrown at it.
I mean,
I
Travis
guarantee
Dick-
there were more shots thrown at that basket than there were in the entire round.
Oh, yeah.
You tell me you give Travis Dick 90, 100 foot jump putt, and he has the mulligans he had. You tell me he's not gonna. I was like, oh wow.
I thought for sure, yeah.
But
I want to. He didn't take that many mulligans on it.
Was
He-
Josh
he
Dick
said
was
five,
there.
maybe.
Josh
I
Dick
think he
got
took
a piece
five.
on
Travis
it.
played the
4
morning.
or 5.
Josh Dick got an ace on it, but it was right before the round started.
That's right.
He
Oh,
was just
I didn't hear
practicing.
about
Oh,
that.
that's
He hit it.
hilarious.
He was like, that ruined me for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
he came over to me. He's like, so I aced 18, but it was in the practice round. Does that count? I'm like,
But
sorry, buddy.
but it also ended up working out for him. He ended up winning the bag later.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
maybe karma came back to him there. So, but yeah, that
Right.
was wild because literally when you're standing there, I'm like, man, I'd love to have this shot all day. But then yeah, everybody's like, yeah, we got so close. I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
Yeah, so we ended up after we had 3-4 people sign up day of, and then one
Nice.
guy showed up.
Yeah,
In
I saw
between
him.
rounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
He came late, and he did that the last time too. He had
Yeah.
something going on in the morning. He's like, I want to come play,
Yeah.
and he's like, here's my money. He paid for
Yeah.
he paid full price for just playing the
That's
afternoon
awesome.
That's
round.
great.
And with him coming in last minute, put us at 50.
50
Which was what my
people.
number was.
That's awesome.
And I was
That's
like, you know
awesome.
what? That
Yeah.
I don't care if it was only one round.
Yeah.
I got my number, so
Yeah.
I was super excited about that.
Yeah. That is exciting.
And I mean, no one had any complaints. I think our biggest
No,
complaints were
I didn't hear
the
any.
heat, which
the heat.
Yeah,
and
which
they know
is
that's
just
nothing we
out of your
control
control.
in a
Yeah.
June tournament. But again,
Yeah.
It was perfect.
it was
really.
awesome.
It was.
I mean, so many things. One of the first things, because when did we it was tournament? It was 3 years ago when we did the first one.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Of course, 2019 had delays, 2020 COVID, and then this year, biggest thing we said from the last one to this one was flat out, it has to be a full 18. We want to do everything possible to make it a full
Yeah.
18
Yeah.
holes. And because last time 9 holes, 2 rounds in there, it was kind of monotonous. I'll say it was
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah. Yeah.
But this one having a full 18 course, and they said 2 different parts of the day. All just actually giving people the opportunity where you're not playing the same hole 4 times. It really, that was a nice draw to it, and a big goal, hand in hand, wanting to do 18 holes. A big goal was actually getting to use more of the campus overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the stadium,
I loved it.
yeah, the
Yeah.
stadium having 9 of the holes was like, okay, this is perfect. And yeah, it'd be a little bit of walk between them, but being able to shoot people to the front and then, like I said, it ended up being the side there at the end. I wondered if you had them. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it worked out awesome to be able to have that little mix and you can even some of the constraints we even had of
Yeah. So when I get this thing set up the first time, I pick a date and I'm like, I want this date, and then I find out I can't use that date because that's the same day as graduation.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
minor
Cool.
detail.
So then I was like, okay, we're gonna pick this date. I said, okay, there's nothing going on. The whole campus is yours. Cool. And then like the week before, I get told from one of my coworkers, where is this disc golf tournament being held? And I said, the whole campus. It's gonna be out front, out back.
Yeah. Right.
Anywhere you want it to.
And he goes, no, not by the library. I'm like, why? He
Which
goes,
if you
'Cause
go to the back 9 there.
yeah, it's like where hole 16 is in the middle of the field. It's like right
Yeah.
above it. So like top
The very
of,
top left, yeah.
so
That's
anything
just off
on
frame.
that side we couldn't use because there was an SAT going on, which
Yeah.
meant we also couldn't use anything in the horseshoe parking lot because all of the kids taking the SAT were going to be in there.
Yeah.
So we ended up, not being able to use some of it like we wanted to, because we would have had it perfect, all the way around the campus without having to backtrack anywhere.
Right.
But I mean, it still worked out.
Which
It
this
was-
had good flow to bring us back into 1 also.
Yeah,
Because one,
yeah.
one being where it was and then coming out for here, it worked out because it actually worked out really well. And like we said, there's some things we know we could do different with kind of using the heart of the middle field and coming over, but kind of having the balance of, all right, short dink and dunk shots, but then also, hey, there's some distance in there. And then, like I said, 17, I think most of us, we threw 17. Again, putters usually, mostly putters and below. It's like, all right, you think, oh, I'm just going to rip it across there. And you get to throw it, you're like, man, I can't throw it that far
That's
with any
right.
of this.
That tournament disc was the best disc
Oh,
for
man.
that
Oh,
hole.
man.
Yeah.
So I didn't use that tournament disc the first round. I never even picked one up. I completely forgot to grab one. And second round, I'm like, I can't do this with just a wizard. Like, I
Yeah.
need to pick something else up. So I went and grabbed that.
Yeah, if you want to mention that detail about
Yeah.
how we actually, that one was a mid-range.
Yeah,
deal.
it was a mid-range that tournament.
It sure
disc,
looked like a
but-
putter. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, it was a slow mid-range.
Yeah.
That was a fun quirk for it. Was everybody shows up knowing like, oh, I just gotta use putters, and we're like, hey, by the way, and it was a great thing for the beginner people that we did have coming. It was like, hey, guess what? Everybody can throw this mid-range disc, and yeah, I know EJ and Andrea. I know she was just like, man, that thing would really fly. I was like, yeah, and of course,
Yeah.
Had a
people-
lot of
Great
people
beginner,
that are like,
the
I
oh,
want
yeah.
more.
disc too.
yes, it
Well,
was.
I think Prodigy made some money off of us.
I bet.
because
I bet.
I know a lot of people went and asked Julian if they had more. Like,
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of
I
fun.
saw a couple of good shots on 13. Horrible drive, and then threw it in. One in the first round, one in the second round.
It's crazy.
I saw a really interesting shot on 15, which was super hard. I didn't see many good shots on that one, but it was a forehand, almost thrown like straight up in the air, but just enough of an angle that once it went up, it just kind of came straight back. It was parked under the basket. I thought it was going in. I was up at an angle. I could see the whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
I thought for sure it was going in, but and I don't know who threw that.
I think
didn't
this
really
is one
see who
of the
threw
best
it.
shots of my life.
Just Annied in there the whole way.
Yeah.
he did. All right, James
I
Conrad.
was gonna say, all right, James Conrad, there we go.
Ooh,
Oh wow.
is that up under the picnic table there?
Uh-huh.
Ah, look at
Yeah.
you.
I think that was one of my favorite holes.
Yeah.
That hole was
Yeah,
fun.
that was pretty neat.
That island hole, I wasn't a
The-
big fan of it once we got going. Like a lot of people, I
The
think
one
that
on the
was-
staircase back
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
that
that
was my
was-
harp. I skipped it off of the concrete and it went in the
Oak
grass
tree.
both times.
Jacob.
Son of
Jacob is so fun.
Look at
man.
a- oh, hey, Boozer.
Hey.
Boozer's
Heyo.
like, get a good shot of my leg here, man.
Any thigh?
YouTube's gonna love that one. That's for sure.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yep, skipped her.
Yeah, that was a fun one to watch and film too. Watching
wish
people
I
try
had
to
the-
miss the trees and then
It's a harp.
skip.
I wish
that
I had the
was
Jim
tough.
Morgan disc speed. That was nice for a harp, man. I don't get enough disc speed on that thing. That you money there? Is that? Yeah, that.
Oh, that was a great.
It was
We
oh,
talked about
there was
this
a
one.
lot of mulligans on this hole.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about this, and definitely one of the best parts about this. Again, first time setting up a full 18. Like you said, most people didn't have really any complaints. We had a lot of people that went ahead and gave us feedback on a couple of the holes, and this was one where it's like, and once we were actually seeing some of these different
Right.
cards play it, it was flat out. It was definitely clear of like.
You could have
All right.
got the tee box a little closer, still had him toe through the
And that's
trees.
what
That's what
for
we said.
juniors, and then the female division, like that's what we saw flat out. It was literally like, man, that was actually definitely too much to try, because it's enough to.
Yeah.
I never saw any
There was-
of
I made it both rounds. I think I'm probably the only person.
The
to do that.
reactions are
See,
great.
he's still rolling.
Oh my gosh!
He's throwing again.
He's still throwing. On the stairs.
Oh no.
Wow, that's good.
Jacob's
stuff.
way back there. That's like his sixth shot on this hole.
Oh man.
He's from the steps.
Did he drain it?
Ooh, he tried.
the. So
Man.
close.
Oh.
Throwing from out of
Yeah, that was a rough hole.
Yeah.
That little tiny patch of grass was a tough spot to land, especially after the trees. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was brutal.
It was
Look at
fun,
the
though.
calves. Look at those. Ooh.
Yeah, this was really
Ah, see
a
that I
roller.
tried
That's
that.
a good idea.
Oh wow, that.
Oh, that just kept going.
That was,
Oh,
a, that, was a,
jeez.
that was a stego.
Yeah.
I was just like, I've never tried to roll this before. Well, don't trust me because
oh
it
my
went.
goodness.
It rolled top went the other way, man. It was horrible.
That's
Wow.
funny.
But yeah, this is when we actually were trying to lay it out in the practice round. I did that same thing where I was like, hey, let me just.
That worked.
I'm gonna try to do a roller.
It hit the
'cause I had
wall,
my
it's out of
I didn't know
bounds.
about that. I'm
Oh,
like,
is it?
that's
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
If
Wall
you,
hits
if
out
you
of
touch the building, it's out of
Oh,
bounds.
okay.
Otherwise,
was-
yeah, that was good.
He,
So do you have to rethrow, or is it just a
Take it.
stroke?
Yeah,
it's
it's
just,
just on.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a
Okay.
stroke from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get around the.
This one almost
Oh,
worked.
that
If he
one.
would have got a better bounce,
Oh.
but it cut the
Oh,
other
it
way.
turned it.
See,
Yeah.
that's what Logan did. Logan threw his. It hit the rail, the wall there, and then rolled back in, and he was like parked right under the basket. Perfect.
Oh,
birdie.
wow.
It was so much fun. A lot of people were confused on this one too. They
Yeah.
thought we had to go through it. Thought it was Mando
Got you.
through it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we're like, no. I even said multiple times, like it's
Yeah.
not Mando.
It's
to
just
go.
an obstruction. Yeah.
It's just making
Definitely
it
in
more
the
fun.
way. Yeah, I saw a lot of hyzers on the cards I filmed that worked.
I just thought about tomahawking that. Like, why didn't I?
I
do
love
that?
Jacob's
Yeah.
reactions.
You'll get them next year.
Right.
I think Booster had the best throw on this one, and he used the tournament disc there.
Yeah, the one thing, quick shout out, Andy Harshbarger of Van Man Disc. He's the one that provided the latitude bag that we gave away as part of the raffle as well.
Oh yeah.
He came up to Justice later, and he's like, I really appreciate. Andy's a big baseball guy. He's like, man, I really appreciate you giving me the one where the basket was out there on the mound. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we're like, that's exactly the way we planned it.
Yeah.
No, I had no I planned it at all, but it ended up perfectly being that one. So it was
I
one.
literally
He was
sat
like,
there and
"That's
made
awesome."
T signs like 2 days before the event. I'm sitting there in my classroom, like my kids are watching a movie. I'm clicking around, making T signs, and
He means to say he was working very hard.
It was very.
it was the end of the
It was
school
for
year.
the
They
kids.
were watching a movie.
It's for the
right?
kids.
I know, right?
Oh man, but yeah, that was one of the, literally when he said that. It's like, oh man, he said that. I was like, oh yeah, that worked out
Jacob
pretty
was
perfect.
great to film.
He is great to film. His reactions are hilarious.
Jim, I gotta ask, the leg is that a balance thing or is that more of a follow through thing? Which is that?
When I rotate,
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a nice.
it's my power.
Is it your
for
power?
for my helicopter?
Okay, that's what I wanted to. Is that your, like an extra rudder back there?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like kickstarting the Harley. You
All
just
right.
gotta get
Okay,
a little
I was curious.
momentum
like it.
on there.
I mean, I've always.
I'm
seen
glad
you do
there's
it.
no
I
film
don't-
of me.
I don't do
My leg
upshots.
comes way out.
People
I've
say it
kicked
all the
people.
time. When people see me do an upshot, they're always like, "Does he do that all the time?"
The answer
I'm
is
like,
yes.
"Yeah, I do.
It
Yeah.
obviously works for you.
I hit him."
But it's what I mean. I say stuff like that, but Logan and I we were messing around one day. We went to Cedar Lakes and played around. And he picked me up early that morning. For some reason, he goes, "Hey, I brought my gimbal to be able to put my phone on." I was like, "We're gonna mess around with it." Okay. Once you start seeing yourself like
Yeah.
filmed, you're like, "Okay, so that's what I look like throwing a disc." It's like I've always wanted to do it more to actually try to tweak the form,
Yeah.
but it's hilarious when the first time you see it, you're like, "That's really what I look like."
Yeah.
You're like, "That's okay, all right."
I'm,
Yeah.
So-
I'm really
It's
that
annoying
fat.
sometimes.
Yes.
The bad part was he said that I had this. Nate Sexton. They had done this clothing the thing at one point. They're like, hey, order everything. We'll make everything. It's ordered. All that. So like I ordered one of these Nate Sexton
Ooh.
hoodies they had.
Ooh.
Well, it's a 2XL, and I thought it's gonna be great. It's a snug it must be a West Coast 2XL or something. Like, that thing was snug, and I wore that. I wore that day. He and I were at Cedar Lakes, and every video I looked at, I'm like, damn, I gotta work on that gut. I gotta lay off a beer or two. Like, I'm like, man, but I'm like, what's weird is it can be tight all over, but it must be one that like he's actually tried before, because for me to swing the disc, actually like my arm, nothing was restricted.
Yeah.
But man, was she snug. Like it was. Oh,
Uh,
we gotta roll away over here. As he's throwing, here comes one coming in.
well, you
Right?
know it wasn't
That
fitted
pound?
on Big Germ
Probably.
then.
No, yeah, that's what. Like I said, they actually. It was funny because Nate had done his, and then Big Germ did one. You said that he did one right after, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna try with the hoodies. I'm just gonna get me a Germ T-shirt. That's what
Yeah.
I'll stick with the safer one there. But yeah, that was.
I like this editing here. Zoom in on the back.
Yeah, so I have a camera sitting behind this
I think
basket.
it got hit one time too.
Probably.
The girl, one of the girls ones rolled over too,
Yeah.
didn't it?
I thought about it afterwards and was like, I should have definitely put that on 4. Because you have a practice shot on 2, and then you go right to 4, 2
Yeah.
holes later, you're going to more likely hit that one.
Yeah.
And after someone hit it, I was like, well, I didn't have
And
it
4
on
might
4.
4 might have even been easier for a lot because it was actually straight down, whereas this one
Yeah.
kind of went left to right a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Like, you'll get the distance on 2, figure that out, and then 4, you'll dial it in, most
Yeah.
likely.
Right.
But that was after the fact, of course.
Stay right. Stay right.
Uh-oh.
All right, good. And see, that was one detail that
This is good camera work right here.
I love it.
Just wait. It gets
Nice
better.
feet.
Just wait, it gets better. But that was one thing that we definitely. Oh, sorry, I got sidetracked there. One thing that we definitely, when we were watching some of the things that happened, I remember from the last event, even kind of a little detail: fences, walls, the buildings. Yeah, you hit them, one
Oh,
stroke
man.
penalty.
It made
Yeah.
it so much tougher.
So
Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah.
concrete curb, though, at the very bottom, if you get
Uh-huh.
solely like a kick off of it, we didn't count that one necessarily. It's like it wasn't like, okay, like that's. And again, a lot of those. So like I saw the one throw Jacob had where he threw it like really flat, like I literally went across track.
Yeah.
If you could do one, you could just stay down there. You could do that, and if you want, you could play a bank shot off that concrete.
Well, I
And
think
so,
you owe
Good
Boozer
point.
a stroke then, because on hole 1, he went over the fence and skipped off the ground and went up and hit the concrete underneath the fence.
but
Was
not,
that not?
But not the fence.
But not the fence.
Yeah, technically, yeah. Boozer.
Hey.
Sorry, what I just struck now.
Hey Boozer, if you're listening, we'll go fix it on.
He
this
does
one.
listen. Boozer does listen.
All right,
So he'll hear
He
it.
comments
Oh,
on it.
gosh.
we're going to disc
Maybe.
golf scene right after this. We'll take a
I'll
stroke
I'll
off.
put
for
you an
Yeah.
asterisk stroke on there.
Right,
Yeah.
an asterisk.
But yeah,
Asterisk.
and that's the thing,
Extra mulligan.
Obviously, we know the sport as a whole. Yeah, we know it's all competitive, but that's the beauty of how this one is. Yeah, there's a lot of people. You guys obviously know we're young when it comes to any kind of tournaments or anything like that, and all these things we do, we can continue to fine tune it more and more in the future to actually, oh, that
This-
just got by that.
As
post.
an annual event, this will only get bigger, man.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I'm so excited.
I can't believe
Yeah.
more novice players of people that would just want to come to the stadium wouldn't just show up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
Yep.
I guess disc golf's such a strange thing.
Well, and the biggest problem, again, if we can get into the schedule where we'd like to, which is tough because of track and everything, we like being able to do it in the spring because it's not as hot usually. The
Yeah.
problem is there's so much more
Right.
stadium interferences and
Yeah.
everything going on. So when school's still going on too, it's easier to spread the word about.
This is
hey,
really
this-
the only time of year
That
that,
was
the
one of my
stadium's
favorite
not
holes.
used.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
this hole right here.
You got the little tiny
Got her-
strip
got her both
inbounds.
times.
I think
Yeah.
everyone
Nice.
liked this
Good
hole
job.
except for the juniors
Yeah.
and the women.
That's the helicopter,
They
right?
hated it.
there.
They were
Woo!
like, "This hole is impossible." And I'm like, "Well, I mean,
No,
It was-
Jacob.
It was only 30 yards.
You missed
it's
it
a
by a mile.
30-yard shot."
And another.
And another. And I love his reaction. He's
He's
like,
like-
"Oh, jeez."
See, first round I threw this one and I landed in, and then my second shot
Oh.
I missed the putt. It skipped off the basket and landed out of bounds. So I went
Yeah.
from a 2 to a 4 on my
Oh
just
man.
immediately.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, I tried.
That was out of bounds. Hash mark.
So yeah, we
That was out of bounds. End zone.
This
Yeah.
one was I liked from its fact 50-yard shot, well about 47-yard shot, or whatever. But you're confined by the hash marks, confined by the end zone. It's like, hey, it's kind of like what you have on some of those holes in the front. You're wide open, you think, but it's like,
Yeah.
now you
Yeah.
gotta control it. It's a nice
Slow-
little
yeah.
control throw.
Yeah.
Slowing it down, getting that stall at the
Yeah.
end.
Keep going. Come back. Come back.
Just
Ooh.
can't even see it over here.
Oh man,
uh,
James, were you going on the wrong basket?
I had
Oh,
like 4 mulligans at this point. I should have used some more because I really ate it on this hole.
Oh man.
I would have won if I would have buried this hole or tied.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
That
man.
looked like one of the tougher holes too.
I'd have won it if I'd
It
have
was.
aced every hole too.
Yeah.
But you know,
Well, if some butts were coconuts.
Yeah, that was the big thing overall was, as much as we had grand ideas before, and Justice obviously when the first time you did it, it was like, hey, this you basically already had your gym class layout, and you were just kind of tweak it.
yeah, yeah.
Well, like with
What's
this
shaking?
stuff, I am done.
I went to hell for filming that. I just missed my putt right there. And guess what? I missed my back shot too.
Oh,
It cost
no.
me 2 strokes.
Wow.
Yep.
So you would have won if you had.
I would have
done-
tied probably.
Yeah, that-
Oh
I'm
man.
consoling myself right there. And here's our 3-way playoff. Threw a
the
pig.
first over
Couldn't
Julian, right?
control it.
Didn't Julian go last?
I thought Julian went first because Mark. No, you're right. Julian.
Last,
Was that
yeah.
Mark first?
Mark first.
Yeah,
I didn't
Mark
yeah.
realize
first.
that. Did they both wear red shirts? Guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Julian went last, and it was like as soon as
Julian's disc golf game's been on lately.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and as soon as he threw that shot, everybody was just like, "Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Uh-huh.
parked, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be tough to beat
Yeah, that's
that."
right. Yeah, Mark and Julian
I see
about
they're
matching
twinning
there.
right
I was
now.
like,
The main thing I want to say is, if you want to honor Jessica, do something kind for somebody else. Because that was her last wishes. She said she wanted to be remembered lovingly by spreading kindness in her honor. This golf community meant a lot to her, so thank you all for coming out and supporting us. Awesome.
That's nice. That turned out so
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so at the very beginning, when Julian started, before we did anything else, that was actually when he read her obituary. It's actually the first time anyone's ever heard it because he hadn't even posted it anywhere.
Right.
It hadn't been in
Oh.
the paper, hadn't been on Facebook. It was on. I mean, that's the first time. He said, he hadn't decided how he wanted to release it yet.
Yeah.
He told us, he's like, "This is the best way to do it."
Yeah.
Said,
Yeah.
doing stuff she loves. So
Yeah. You know, I had never really looked at this picture that closely before, and then until I saw
Oh,
the
I
pink
didn't either.
hair
Yeah,
and
it's-
Yeah.
Tristan
Yeah.
and her camera.
and he said that they're actually they're gonna redo this design and they're gonna put a halo over
Oh,
her head.
nice.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
they're gonna do like a
he had some shirts
A
himself,
limited
some
run.
stuff he was getting himself.
Yeah.
That he said that's what they were going to be able to
Yeah.
limited run of shirts and stuff.
do. With it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
That's
shirts
cool.
are sweet. We went in and saw them when we were there, and they look really nice. This logo is awesome, and like the stickers.
Yeah.
He gave us a couple stickers for prizes and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a really cool logo.
Yeah, I love that logo for sure.
Love the trophies too, man. Those
Yeah,
were
those
nice.
trophies were
That-
sweet.
That turned out so nice,
'Cause last
especially
time we
because
just had little squares, and Matt was like, let's make it a disc.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
how about that? I've seen different places. Of course, that people have different cut plaques, whatever, and it's like there's several of them that I've seen, whether it's wood, whether it's a specific disc, actually, like all that stuff. It's like especially where we'd done stuff with the shop class previously. It was just like, that'd be ideal if they could do it. And it was quickly like we had the idea of it. He went to him, and then he's like, hey, you can do these, and then like within a couple of days, he's just like, hey, here they are. I'm like, oh, you guys, because it's laser engraved stuff. It's like, dang, okay.
I think I asked him like a Wednesday, and it was like Monday morning. They were in my mailbox at school. I'm like, sweet. And, that right there, that's Brett Pounder, one of my teacher buddies.
Cool. Mr. Pounder.
Yeah, Mr. Pounder. Sorry, he was my teacher whenever I was in school, even though he's really not that old. But
that's neat.
He started playing with us during COVID. Actually, he was like, "I'll come play. Why not?" And so he wins men's CTP, and then my wife wins women's CTP. I'm like, all right, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Taking all the stuff home.
Right.
Yeah. And then this is Owen. His mom is one of my teacher friends too. So
Nice.
he wins junior CTP.
This was his first time playing ever, right?
Yeah, first time ever playing disc golf.
Wow.
And he comes out and
Owen and Henry both was this their first time. Yeah.
He looks like a ball player though.
Wait, he is a baseball player.
You
So
can't count out those baseball
he came out.
players.
He had the swagger, but then you watch him slinging it some. It's like, okay,
Matt,
now
look at those legs.
look at that leg.
Ooh.
Speaking of the fat comments, I am holding the gut up. At least Andrew's having a good time. That's what we like to see.
That up sometimes.
And that is like perfect form from
We
Andy.
got Van Man
I
here.
say
If
perfect
anyone
form
doesn't
with my
know him.
standing. Thank you.
I don't care about your standing.
No, Andy is
He's
the.
like James Conrad. He's pointing his elbow at his
He
target.
does, yeah.
I love watching Andy. What little bit I do ever get to see him do anything play, because he's running the events and everything. But yeah, anytime I see him do anything with it,
Oh, that's a great shot of Jacob.
So a big shout out to Andy, and
I was gonna say, for one thing, if we want to take a second, I was gonna run through real quick we put together we had whole sponsorships and everything, but also based on some donations. I was wanting to be able to give a shout out to the people we did have contributions for. Of course, tournament dedicated to Jessica. We had a whole sponsored by the Cocktail Bar, and it's also Zach, the owner. My family, me and my fiance and her family, we frequent there a lot. I went to him and said, hey, we'd love to have a sponsorship, and he said, yeah, that. And then also he has a Warrior Fitness. He sponsored 2 holes for it. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to be able to contribute. Of course, Prodigy Disc with their donation. Auto Eye Packet. It's for new and used cars. Actually, it's the digital basically file transfer service or digital file service for assisting with the sale of cars. One of my good friends growing up, he's works for the company. They were able to provide a sponsorship.
That's nice.
Austin Netting, of course, Team ADG sponsored a couple holes. My parents actually, Tracy's Toys and Treasures. It's a little shop in Rinks Flea Market, and they Tonka toys, the Legos to Barbies, you name it. They sponsor the whole. Discmania, of course, with all the contributions. We can get back to those. We talked about that last time, but Discmania provided several discs, which were awesome for the raffle prizes. Parkersburg Brewing Company, and of course in Mark Street downtown, they gave a gift certificate for the raffles. Of course, Appalachian Disc Golf. Julian has the practice baskets that we use all through the front 9 there in the stadiums. We contributed those. The Bodega contributed money for the Bodega Coffee Creativity Community. They actually contributed for the CTP.
Yeah.
And then we had a whole sponsored by the Disc Golf Collective Achieve Balance Massage Therapy. Had a joint hole together there for all the contributions. Appreciate that, guys. J&M Books and Play. We had a hole in memory of Ward Womack, who's actually the
it's my stepmom's dad.
Stepmom's dad, yes.
He actually passed away like right before the event as well. So my dad was like, I want to give money for it, and I said, do you want to be a whole sponsor? He's like, I don't want my name on it.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, what do you want me to do? He goes, put it in Ward's name. I said, all right, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Then Boathouse Barbecue. Of course, we mentioned Van Man Discs, and then last hole, which I think we'd previously touched on, Mark Holbert, is whole sponsored by Mark Holbert in memory of Jeff Holbert's brother, correct? Yeah. So, but yeah, it's what just want to give a quick shout out to those people. Obviously, they made a huge contribution and everything with that. But what were you gonna say right before?
Yeah. So Matt and I, last minute, we're trying to figure out who's gonna play on what card based on like what we know, and we had a few tweaks once people got there. A couple people signed up day of, so we're like, okay, what are we going to do with the 2 juniors that have never played before? And, we knew there were some families here and there, like we didn't want to break any of them up. And finally we were like, I'd feel bad, splitting up the juniors. I'd feel bad setting them with someone and slowing down some of these other guys that play all the time. Matt and I were like, we want to play. Let's go play with these guys. Let's go teach them how to play.
Yeah.
So we decided, like, morning of we're playing.
Yeah.
And so we
play with them.
we
Let's do it.
jumped in,
Yeah.
played with those guys, and I mean they had a blast. They talked about it the whole time. They were saying how much fun they were having,
That's cool.
and
Going
so-
into it, I was say you had even mentioned that Owen's mom was like, I don't know if they'll last for the afternoon. And honestly, it was hot. We saw how again everybody trying to chug through that first round. They're troopers. Like I was just like, man, they're going right along. Kept making sure they kept hydrated. Like, get some water, guys, stay with you. But they kept rolling, and they toughed out. And like I said, they had a blast.
Yeah, they told us,
So.
and she's like, I don't know if they'll play the whole time. That's a lot. And we're like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. And after before we started the second round, I went and got one of the kids lost his disc over in the fence there at 18. I went and got it, and I came back and I was trying to find where he was. Both of the boys were in the field just chucking it back and forth, working on their throws, in
Nice.
between
Yeah.
rounds. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, first off, I can tell you're young because I'm over here dying.
Yeah.
This right here was what it was. Where whenever we had got back, and I think there was only maybe a couple cards still left to finish when we got back to TC there, but everybody was trying to huddle in that corner as much as possible.
Yeah,
get the
well, you
fans.
can
Only
see
in that
like
shade.
right
In
through
the
here
shade.
was a line of shade. Yeah.
Right.
There was a breeze blowing against that back
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
Oh,
too.
Yeah.
I was ahead of the gate. I walked right in there.
Yeah, that's what we we decided to play, and so last minute we're playing, and then it got a little bit of a backup, and we were one of the last cards in, and it's like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
tournament directors are still out on the course. What the heck are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And so I get back and I look over. I'm like, oh man, there's so many people over there already. And my mom is serving food. Like, my mom was a trooper.
She was.
She
She
was
was
one of the
great.
first people
Absolutely.
there. She served hot dogs to
Yeah.
freaking everybody.
Oh yeah.
She's just.
If you
pouring
didn't want a hot
sweat.
dog, you were getting one.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I was,
yeah.
It
I was
just
gonna
gave more time.
she
for
told me at
ticket
one
sales.
point,
Yeah.
you look like
guys
you
were
need
just
something to
dragging your
eat.
feet for ticket sales.
Yeah.
That's what you were doing.
Exactly.
Just the way we planned it.
I felt bad because everybody was sitting there like trying to figure out who to turn their cards into. So we finish up and kind of sprint our way back over.
Yeah.
I get over there. Andy is sitting on the ground, counting
Counting
up
cards,
scores,
yeah.
putting them in.
Yeah.
I've got Bill and his wife over
was gonna
selling
say,
tickets.
Kelly Harshbarger and Linda Rollinson were literally. People wanting to buy raffle tickets. They were just rolling with, and it's one of those. And flat out, yeah, we know Kelly helps Andy with the terms and that, but you can tell they've got their boosters years, but they're like
Yeah.
flat out. We're good over there. They have the system of everything with the tickets just flying through them. I mean, it was just like, and even the simplest thing, like we had $1 each, 6 for $5. They added the 12 for 10. It's like, okay, it's literally the same price, but man, so many people were like, just don't increments of 10s because they're just like, yeah, we want this, and it was just like, it was awesome the way they pitched it. If we get back there and. I probably, all of us were kind of sweaty and sticky. I don't know how many times I hugged Kelly and Linda because I was like, thank you so much for the help. And, of course, Andy's like, yeah, man. And like you said, Andy and them all huddled over there doing the score stuff. And, again, we knew this was more of a for fun, a charity fundraiser, everybody get out, introduce some people to the sport, enjoy it and all that. But at the same time, like the way those people pitch in to make it seem that much more of a sophisticated event, it was like, okay. And that's how easy we realize it can be with the right people around you, with the right, support group. And it was like, it was awesome. And I guess just kind of think about it because it's like coming back today, like I said, we're all tired. It's like, man, we got all these people just wanting to pitch in to make this as best event as possible. And it was awesome.
And they didn't even, I thanked Andy probably 100 times. I'm like, dude, you would not have to do this. He's like, it needs done. Why not do it?
Yeah.
So then, when we were actually one of the first cards finished on the second round. And so we get over and sit down, and he literally comes straight over, sits down right beside me, and is like, "What do you need me to do?"
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm adding them up, and I'm handing them to him. I'm like, double check these, double check my math on the 2 rounds, and
which helped awesome because as soon as we got done there, whatever hole we ended up finishing, as soon as we got done, I hopped in the truck and I was able to go out front and start cleaning up. So while we thought it's like, it's gonna be a long day doing the stuff, and we do everything, then we got to spend all this time cleaning. It's like, I was able to get the whole front cleaned with
I
even the
think
help
we
of the
had it
girls
all
group. They
cleaned
grabbed
up.
a couple signs. Like people were able to kind of throw stuff together, and it was like it went together so fast to where we were ready to leave there at 5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that. It was like we thought we're like, we're gonna be able to actually getting everything put away. So everybody pitched in so many ways, just made such a big difference.
It was so much fun.
I'll add a little bit about Andy real quick because, like, I've asked Andy to be on the podcast, not to knock him or anything 50 times probably. He's the busiest man you've ever met. He's got boys that play baseball, and
They're
he's
over the place.
all over the place. Like he's running tournaments every weekend. So the fact that he came, to me, it says that like Julian and Jess meant a ton to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Andy and
And
Kelly.
it was
first
really
ones
cool to
registered.
see him.
Yeah, they
Andy
were-
and Kelly, very first deal
Yeah.
registered, and
I sent him a
I'm
message.
not surprised
I
at
sent him
all.
a message.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, we're doing this tournament. If you want to
Yeah.
sponsor, I know you sent some stuff last time we did it. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm in.
I'm
Let
going
me
to
know when it
guarantee he
is."
moved stuff in his schedule to make that happen.
yeah.
Guaranteed.
okay,
so,
then that's what's funny about that was
Yeah.
they were talking about stuff, all this stuff they've been doing, stuff they've had, and they said that was the one weekend they found they didn't have anything.
I'm
And
surprised.
that's
Yeah.
what. So Andy
Yeah.
said he's like, hey, I booked this. Said to Kelly, he's like, hey, I booked this trip to go to
Yeah.
Parkersburg that weekend. And she goes, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Just like didn't have anything else on. They're going and playing, and like I said, they
That's
they
awesome.
definitely, like I said, they pitched in so much, but they also raved about how much they enjoyed themselves.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
It was, when as soon as I got it set up, I was like, the link's there if you want to share it. Get the people down in Huntington area, and I mean, not 20 minutes after I send him the message that the link's up,
Yeah.
he's already registered.
That's awesome.
I hadn't even
Yeah.
put in most of the details. I
Yeah,
mean,
we had to
Yeah.
we had to plug in some other
we're
stuff after.
still
'Cause we're like, hey,
putting
that wasn't
stuff,
in there
like,
yet.
A week late, and
Yeah.
he's already signed up. I'm like, this is awesome.
That is.
Like I said,
That's
we ended
special.
up right at 50 people, which was great. I mean, that
Yeah,
was my
that's
goal.
a huge success
Yeah.
for sure. And first year, how many did you have that
We
year?
had 36
Okay.
first time.
All
And,
right,
my
nice,
goal
nice.
was to beat 32. Sorry, my goal was
Okay.
to beat 32, and we got to
Yeah,
30 pretty
yeah,
quick, and then
yeah.
it kind of died right after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean Andy runs so much stuff all the time. and
He
his-
does.
He's always busy, and anytime I go to one of his tournaments, if we're ever down that way, we'll go talk to him. I mean, I only know the guy because of disc golf tournaments.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Me too.
And
Yeah.
he'll talk to me all
These-
the time.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
are all events he had. Actually, he'd actually opened a shop, which I don't. All these events are actually in Illinois, but he'd actually opened a shop. Where exactly is that? There's another shop that opened up, but anyways, like he actually has. Of course, I think maybe even this weekend might be in the Armco tournament or the Ashland Armco Open, but
Wow. He's running tournaments in Illinois now.
yeah, that's why I see. I said I don't
Oh
remember all the
my
details
goodness.
for sure, but I know he's got a. I saw it. I've been following a little bit on Facebook. Where he has a shop out there in Illinois. That I don't know if someone moved out there and opened it
Oh, okay.
under his umbrella there or what.
I
But
was
yeah,
gonna say it's
Yeah.
the same.
it's everything the same. Yeah, but
Yeah.
they just opened another.
He's franchising.
Yeah.
That's
He is,
awesome.
yeah.
Way to go,
Love to hear
Andy.
that.
Yeah.
Good job,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So you can probably even pull up his
Definitely
Facebook page. You might have the
Yeah.
maybe better details even. But yeah, the contributions from everybody. Like I said, we talked a lot about Andy past few months, but like contributions to everybody. I mean, even our buddy, of course Logan. We talk about him all the time, but he had been in California all that week leading up to, and he slept in a little bit Saturday morning, but he ended up showing a little later. He said, but like he showed up, and then actually one of his coworkers, fellow firefighter Jody Ludwig, he came and pitched in a lot with us, and anytime we'd look at. Logan would joke, Logan's like he'll fake reluctantly do it, but anytime we look at Jody, he's just like, what do you need? What do you want us to do?
Okay,
And
like
like I said, the
those
same as
Those guys did everything.
they were
for us.
running all over the place, setting stuff. They actually set up everything that we had out front, basically.
Yeah.
We had kind of a plan for it. And they're like, oh yeah, we got it. And so it was, like I said, everybody pitching in. Like I said, all the people throughout the day. It was awesome, awesome event. Yeah,
It
there's
was.
actually some of the.
It was fun.
Oh,
I
so
came
old
back
ones there?
from the end of the first round, and I look over, and people are buying raffle tickets.
You're like, who's selling
And
raffle?
I'm confused. I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I think we went through just about every raffle ticket you gave us, and then those rolls. I mean, we went through all of them.
Nice.
And I look over. I'm like, what is happening? Like, where are all these like raffle tickets coming from? People are like, they're buying them.
Yeah.
I said, those like one strand that people had were as tall as them. They're like,
Oh yeah.
They said, yeah, this right here is the sixth person to drop $100 on raffle tickets.
Nice.
And I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
are you freaking kidding me?
That's awesome.
And
'cause
I didn't win anything.
Yeah, I mean, I
Me
remember
either.
sitting there looking at that, going, man, the raffles is what I was the least confident in.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there really
Yeah.
just wasn't a way to advertise it. I mean, we
Right.
talked about it here. We talked,
Yeah.
I put it on Facebook, but I mean, you don't really know.
You don't know how much people are going to
What's-
show
yeah,
up.
like-
You
Yeah.
told
Right.
us what you might drop, but like
Yeah.
you don't.
Oh,
Really
I wasn't
expect-
lying.
That's what you were saying. Like saying it's like okay, but then like how many people did in fact do that, and then people that bought $50 worth and like I give us another 20, and like to come back just kept doing more. Like
Yeah.
stakes were up there, man.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
couple people hit. We had a couple people hit an ace, and I'm thinking, okay, you hit the ace. That's cool. You split the money. why didn't you take that money and put it back into raffle tickets and get you more chances at winning? You know, you wanted to donate it right back anyway.
Yeah.
We
Right.
didn't think about that until we were already home.
Yeah.
On the way home, but
Yeah.
That was
That's a
that
good
was
way to
that was good.
you can
Yeah,
donate it back, but also
Yeah.
have a chance. I like that.
Carter Majors hit an ace on
6 or 4.
The bag
no
of the
Jody hit
Warriors.
4. Sorry, you're right. Carter hit
Yeah.
4.
Yeah,
Carter-
Carter
Jody
hit
Ludwig
4.
hit an ace
Yeah.
on 6, which again,
Nice.
4 is one of those ones. You could possibly imagine it happened.
6 was
Relative-
tough.
6 was the one I don't think we had really anticipated. Obviously, 15 or 14
I
would
would
have
have never said
but
a-
6 wasn't a clear obvious one because
camera on 6.
we had the
Never.
Mando for the pole vault poles. You double Mando to get between those, and yeah, 6's basket's on the left over there where it's up by the
Carter gets this one.
yeah. Yeah, this one's hole 4. Of course, you can see like it's definitely a gettable one, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it takes everything dropping perfectly.
Oh,
But yeah, Carter
Say-
hit that one.
Shout out to my wife who almost aced that ball. She,
Oh, yeah.
She put it just under the basket.
But yes, where 6's
Turn the
basket.
sound off on that, Jim.
Yeah, where 6's basket is actually sitting just on the left side of the goalpost itself. Like we said, there's a double Mando between these pole vault posts here, and then the basket's on the left side. And apparently Jody, because we were actually 1 card ahead of them in that first round. Was it first round, right?
Yeah.
And we were 1 card ahead, and we were sitting here throwing, and all of a sudden we like kind of hear them like, oh, ching, and it from right here he just ripped it straight at it, just straight at as hard as possible. And we look over, and it was hilarious because he let out a big like yelp, and all of a sudden he just like he went, he's like. Because he remembered about the SAT stuff we were talking about, like,
we
hey,
said
trying to
that.
keep
Oh,
volume
yeah.
down a little bit.
Part of
Which
the
again,
rules, like if you get an ace, try to be quiet.
Yeah.
you're gonna get ecstatic about it, and we're so far away from the library, it really probably didn't matter. But he literally, even where he was right here, he's still just like he's like whoa, and then instantly, just,
It was so funny.
and we look over, he looked like a little kid that just like he was so excited, but you could tell he also had it in his head like, oh, I gotta be quiet. So he was like, oh my gosh, he couldn't believe it. But
So that was the last hole. That right there was probably the last hole I expected someone to get even close to an ace.
I would
It's
have never
tough.
put a
Double
camera.
Mando
Besides
and
15.
that goalpost in the way. Well, yeah.
Right.
And that goalpost in the way. I mean, that was not an easy.
and most
easy
people
shot.
being the righties, except for Alec Colbert and such, most people in the righties like you're not going to be able to swing it in because of where we literally have we had the goalpost on the right side of the basket.
Yeah.
You can't make that shot; it's going to swing in right to left, and so.
Right.
But someone found a way.
Yeah.
You just
Whatever,
got to
man.
rip it,
Yeah, just straight at it. It's funny. If he'd have missed, he'd probably been like 100 feet past.
Oh
it.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
The way he ripped it through there, he'd have been closer to Four's basket
I
probably.
think he would have been hitting us while we were standing here waiting on the girls to get finished.
That's too funny.
Using up some mulligans. That's what this hole is all
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Jacob used about 4, I think.
Yeah, so this hole, had to land on the white. If it wasn't on the white, it was out.
We got
Yeah.
feedback on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
I got it
bet.
both times. I don't know what they're talking about.
And that's the thing, like you said, because of how short it was obvious a lot of people would want to try to just run it, like try
Yeah.
to make it, and then it's like, but you could probably just lay it up under, hopefully get it to lay up underneath there for an easy 2. But again, the greed there, like, do I get a 1 or a 3, or hope you get a
Yeah.
3, but
Yeah. I felt like going for it carefully was the
Yes.
play, so
Yeah.
that you're either getting a 1,
Yeah.
a 1 or a 3.
yeah. And that's a high lob or something like what Jared just did right there.
Yeah.
They're just like, man, I hate to take the stroke. That's a tap in 3
Yeah.
on a hole. Like you said, we saw people taking.
I saw a bunch of
several,
4s. Yeah.
Several.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I had a tap in 3 and I still missed it. So
So you end up with a 5 because didn't it
No,
go
it was a
across?
4, yeah.
Someone we were watching, they did that. Where like they got so close, but then because of where you were on the right side, you throw straight across it. It went back out of bounds. Guess what? That's a 5.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oops.
Made me so mad.
Yeah, that no using a mulligan off the tee.
Yeah,
Only
off the
use the
second-
mulligan off the
yeah,
tee,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That was rough.
that really played into how,
Yeah.
like, I would have done a lot better.
We've played in some
I
events.
still had 2 mulligans left at the end of the round.
Oh gosh, we've played in some events where you can use a mulligan on any shot. I get it. And again, I think you've benefited from it decently,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't feel like I ended up benefiting from a whole lot. That's just how it ends up working. It seemed like, but in lots of times when it comes to flow, but also just of like, all right, trying to really pick your spots. Like, all right, and no longer than most of these holes where it's like, all right, off the tee would be kind of the best way to do it, but also it adds that little bit of technicality to it. It's like, hey, you can't just every throw just like decide I'm going to use a mulligan, and so it's like.
Guaranteed it caused a lot of bogeys.
Well, I mean, even with the mulligans, I mean, getting the having to bring an item for the food pantry at
Yeah,
DHS.
that was huge. But
Yeah.
definitely thought of that.
You know, I came back after everything was done with the first round, and there's just bags everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is all this crap in our way? Like, what is going on? And they said that's all the stuff from the donations for the Mulligans.
Yeah.
I'm like,
We
all
went-
right, like that's pretty crazy. So we carry it into the school in between rounds, so it was
Yeah.
out of our way.
We loaded up the truck, and we had like 6 of us, and it took 6 of us really with our arms full to be able to make the trip up to the upstairs with it. That's
Oh,
how much we
wow.
had, and it was like, dang.
And I came back, I came back Monday, and I have my kids' first period. I said, okay,
Put them
I
to
need you
work.
guys to help me carry these things down to the nurse's office. And I walk it down the steps with them, and she just looks at me and she's like, "Are you serious?"
What is all this?
She's like, "This came from this tournament." I said, "Yep." I said,
Wow.
50 people.
Yeah.
And she just looks at me and she's like, "That's insane. I would have never expected it." I'm like, "Hey, I
People
mean,
want them mulligans, son.
No, I know.
they need those extra
All
shots."
They
my
need
wife's
the
snacks
mulligans.
disappeared magically.
I don't know where they're at, honey.
These
I
kids
swear.
are hungry this week, I guess.
Yeah, it's all right. They'll live, right?
Oh, that's too
Oh,
funny.
man,
Yeah, so it sounds like it was hugely successful.
it was awesome.
I know that I hope you guys keep doing it, and
That's the goal.
and I'm curious to see like who you guys donate to every year, because I mean there's nothing but people that need help.
Oh,
so
No,
Absolutely.
that's something I've found is like right in the disc golf world. I mean every moment it seems like there's someone new needing
Yep.
something.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
it's
That's
been,
what. And obviously, like I said, this one, dedicated to Jessica, but also, like Julian was talking about, he plans to maybe in the future, not necessarily, maybe this year, but in the future, be able to have like a memorial tournament for her that,
Yeah.
get an actual, maybe B tier or something like that,
yeah.
that'd be
actual
sweet.
event. So yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, be able to each year have this one be for a cause, and it's always, like for some of the Charleston tournaments we've gone to, like usually I think the freeze out, like the freeze out we go to, usually it's always for the one food bank down there.
Yeah,
Of course, each
yeah,
one
yeah.
that it would be nice if we were able to have it floating, and obviously, like you said, just being able to give back to the community that has given so much to so many people.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I tell people all the time that like disc golf definitely changed my life. I couldn't even begin to tell you all the life lessons I've learned from it.
yeah,
Um,
that's what
my favorite life lessons for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was something I've heard it from people, and again, at the different points in different parts of my life. Actually, I got into disc golf fresh off a breakup because literally Justice was like, "Hey, you wanna come play with us?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "I got nothing else to do. Let's go do it." I'd have to
That's a
imagine
good
it.
time.
I would have to imagine it definitely helped my life as far as where things went at that point. And then people I've been around. One guy that I've played with a few different times that he flat out told me that disc golf saved his life, which again I feel like in some ways it definitely supported, it definitely helped the trajectory of my life at that time. But
Yeah.
he said flat out it saved his life because not only had he had been in the service, he'd played sports a lot growing up, had injuries, but then, or not just growing up, even into maybe secondary, post-secondary, but he had injuries and all that stuff. He put on a lot of weight, and he said not only was disc golf something I found to get out and physically go do that kept me active, but also he's like it kept me from some of those darker times that I was kind of getting to in my life, and that was hearing that flat out from him. And every time I see him, every time I play with him, I think about it, because it's like he's a walking example of what the sport can do and what it's meant to several of us in several ways. And again, some people it's something they do to pass time. Some people it has been their life, and it's we all have our stories within the sport, and that's what I love about it. And any person I can introduce to it, I always just, as much as I always want to play better, and everything I do, it's like I enjoy introducing them to the sport because of what I know it's meant to me and meant to so many people. And I loved it when my now fiance, we first started dating. I said something like, I play disc golf, and her parents were like, yeah, we throw frisbees at the baskets at Mountwood sometime. And
Yeah.
I literally like cheap donate plastic frisbees or something. I was like, this is disc golf. So
Yeah.
I was like, I got a little introduction for you. Man, she picked it up, she embraced it, she loved it, and like you say, she won the women's division in this event, and then like we were saying, she recently actually had won the recent tournament out there at Vets. She won the division in that one also, and it's just like she embraced it, loved it. She's we'll still say pound for pound, but basically we'll say by relative, like where she's at, she is far better than I am. Like she picked it up so quick, and then she's just taken off with it so much. And
I'm pretty sure she's beaten me in the last 3 rounds we've
Oh,
played.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
want to throw
she's-
that out there.
Yeah.
she's
Not that I'm any
she
good,
loves tearing
but,
it up. She loves playing the sport, and she's
awesome.
competitive. She loves to beat herself up with it and all that. But at the same time, the joy I get out of watching, especially seeing her especially when she has a round where she comes away, she's like, yeah, it felt really good out there. And like I said, she was ecstatic about the way that round went at Vets. But like you said, one of the biggest joys, even on my birthday this past Sunday, me, Justice, his wife Courtney, like I said, my fiance Andrea, and then Logan and John, another one of Logan's firefighter coworkers. We all went out to Vets and played a 3-on-3 round.
Nice.
Me, Andrea, and Courtney, tried to take the three of them on, and I was like, yeah, maybe a little overmatched, but we'll do. It was a blast, regardless of
We kicked their butt.
regardless
by the way.
of the
Kicked
9-stroke
their butt.
beating that we took. We
Complete beatdown on his
Yeah.
birthday. Nothing
Oh,
better.
man,
that's
Nothing
nice.
better.
I had a blast. I got to carry my discs, my fiance's discs, and your wife's discs
Yeah,
and
hey,
waters
man.
the entire time in my cart. But we had a great time.
You have a Zuka. Shut up.
The Zuka that I bought from you, so I brought it on
Exactly.
myself. Thank you. You're right. You are absolutely right.
Thanks for that money, by the way.
You're welcome.
But no, I mean, without disc golf, I mean, I wouldn't know you guys.
Yeah.
I know.
We
I wouldn't know
met
half the
the
people I
same
know.
Week that you broke up. 'Cause
That's right. That
first
was the
day-
first
yep,
time. Yeah.
That's right.
That's
You
so
had
funny.
just started, man.
I was a.
That's
And you
awesome.
came right away and helped me chainsaw at the Sasquatch. I loved you for that.
Oh my god! Oh,
you're,
that was
you're like number 3 or 4 that ever volunteered there.
that was
That's
man.
awesome.
And then of course, like I said, once the rest of life then got busy, it's like, man, now I'm not doing the other things that got me to this point with helping. But like we were talking about, it's like,
Yeah.
man, I don't want to be able to. Speaking of that, when is the Sasquatch event?
August the 8th.
August the 8th.
August 8th.
What you're
Yeah.
watching in front of you here is my 30-year high school reunion. I took all my old classmates out and played.
Oh,
we
yeah.
had an amazing
That's a-
time.
Is that the Jay Robinson pocket shot there?
That was a
That
forehand.
was a
wasn't it?
forehand pocket shot.
Yeah.
That was-
Weird.
Look at he's talking about it fluttering there.
Yeah.
Now
Ooh,
that
nice.
Yeah.
I would take that play lots of times
Yep.
on this.
Oh,
she
hole.
got
yeah.
she got an A+ gold star. They were
Wow.
making fun of her towel right here. She's like, I get sweaty.
Hey,
And I
go
said,
Herd.
You gotta put
Go
it-
Herd.
I know what it is.
She's a disc golfer.
I tell you, the girls did better than the guys picking it up.
I just
'cause
saw
they
that
weren't throwing
drive.
hard. They were just
Yeah.
trying to.
Right.
Put it where it needs
Yeah.
to be. Yeah.
She had a nice little
Are
crow
you
hop.
saying guys just go out there and try to crush it because
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
it takes? Just takes strength, right? No,
Right.
that is the beauty of this sport is,
Treat.
and you saying that exactly. Like that's one thing. I'll shout out my fiance again, but flat out, she has a background in doing. She did color guard all through high school and college, and she's actually an instructor for high school color guard right now. She has had more disc speed than I've ever had from the time she started because it's all that wrist action. I mean, she
Yeah.
literally you can see it, and so it's like some of the disc I have her going and trying, and it's just like, okay, so yeah, you definitely can whip it down through there, and it's like I said, it's incredible to see. All right, is that you draining a putt from over there? That's someone else. Who's
No,
that?
that's my next door neighbor. He's
Man, he crushed that.
He's
Wow. Did
you see
53, never thrown a frisbee before.
Wow.
Wow.
Right here is when my next door neighbor growing up, Janaea, the redheaded gal, she was like, "Are you filming me?" She had no idea I had a camera.
No.
So, my favorite story ever about this hole right here. There used to be a second tree here,
Yeah.
and we went and played. This is very early in our careers. We go and play, and Jim says, "Well," it says to Logan, "Hey, why don't you try forehanding it? Almost
Basically
identical to that, but
but-
the other
Yeah.
tree was in the way. So why don't you try forehanding it through that tree?" And Logan's like, "You know what? I'll give it a shot next time. I think I can do it." And he's standing on the tee pad. He throws a forehand. It hits the tree and lands in his hands.
He caught it.
And it was like, he goes, "Thanks, Jim."
I think
And
he-
he just backhands it. Like,
Came out and cut it down the next day. No. I'm
yeah,
kidding.
Right.
it was perfect.
Oh,
What are you gonna
that's
say, Jim?
hilarious.
All that poor tortured tree right there.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could see the scars
Yeah.
on it.
Oh man.
No, it was fun, that tournament. I mean, we got Julian out there playing and just playing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like we
Yeah.
talked to him before, and he's like, "So, you want me to bring the shop out? You know, we'll set up shop and try to sell some stuff." And we're
Yeah.
like, "I mean, do you want to?"
Yeah.
He
Because
goes,
that was the thing we said, like wanted to possibly offered up to him again to help help funds.
yeah, I mean, if he wants to
Right.
sell
Obviously,
stuff to make some
you get-
money,
if
go
we
for
can get
it.
this many
Yeah.
people in one place, but
Yeah.
we also at the same time, I think both of us in the back of our head, we flat out like, we really don't want you to. We want you to come enjoy the day. Like we want you, but
Yeah.
When we told him, "Come play, have fun, don't worry about a shop," he was like, "Okay,
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
I want to go enjoy myself and not be in charge of something for once."
him and
Yeah.
Tristan were able to play.
Yeah, him
play
and
with
Tristan
Josh
played
and,
together the
you
whole
know.
time, and I mean they had a blast. Tristan was helping out with everything he could
Yeah.
too. I mean,
I saw that. Yeah, that was neat.
Tristan that kid is so much fun, and he tries. He helps anytime you ask him to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I think
it
he's
was-
still mad at me because I held him upside down and tickled him one time. It was at least 4 years ago. I think he still looks at me with that look he gave me that day.
Yeah, he. I remember when we did the Owls end of the year party. We're sitting there and we're like, all right, we got a raffle drawing, and there's a big old basket a bag full of discs and everything. And Jim looks at him and goes, "Tristan, you're my best friend, right?"
Yeah.
You know it.
He reaches in, pulls out a number, and Jim goes, "That's mine." And so the very next prize was a Black Hole Pro basket. And I look at Tristan, I'm like, "You're my best friend, right?"
Tristan, you're my best friend.
And
Yeah.
he reaches in, pulls out my ticket, and I won that Black Hole.
Man.
And Tristan's like, I'm gonna be the raffle
He's
drawer
been-
for
Yeah, I know.
everything
Yeah.
now.
Oh
Speaking
man.
of raffles, you're supposed to yell at Matt, by the way.
Oh gosh. don't
Yeah,
start.
I didn't win anything on your raffle, Matt. I'm pretty sure it's because you won everything, from what I heard.
I was literally holding all the bags. I was like, Tristan, grab something. Grab just anything. We won the one raffle that was massage from you,
Yeah.
Hey yo.
and then the other
Yeah,
raffle
you're not
was.
getting that.
Oh,
No, I'm
yeah.
just playing.
Oh, you're right. I'm not. That's for Andrea.
Oh.
Andrea just said a couple days ago. She's like, "Man, when am I getting that? When am I getting a massage?" I was like, "You got to set it up. It doesn't just happen
It's
itself."
got a
you
number.
know?
Yeah, there's a number on it.
Then we won. Yeah, the boathouse. Or no, the brewery gift card.
Yeah, brewery.
Didn't get the boathouse one. Then I would have really been a clean sweep. All right. But the brewery one, which
Free
brewery-
exterior detail on your
free
car.
exterior detail on the car, one or two haircuts. I think we got both
I think
haircuts.
you end up with both haircuts.
Yeah, because I got so much hair to
Yeah.
cut.
I
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's nothing up there.
That'll last
so-
you-
Can I have that, by the way?
Huh? Yeah, you're probably one of them.
All right.
I know, right? He's like, I need my beard trimmed up.
But yeah, it was just one of those like, I literally, I'm like, I was like, come on, and Tristan was drawing most of those, and we're like, no, do this, and then eventually it's like, Andrew, and the worst part I think was that Andrea was sitting there holding all our tickets, and whenever the first one was drawn, what number it was, like, oh man, and then like with the rest of them, you're like, that's only like 10 or 15 numbers away. You're like, we have like 30. I was like, oh no, like this isn't going. And sure enough, she's just like, that's sorry. I was like, oh, but. Now we didn't win the big money one. Someone would have had to really.
I know, right?
Conniption if they'd won the big
That might have been,
boys.
that might have been a big deal, though.
Yeah, someone might got upset.
Yeah.
We had the one that Jody won the tilt,
Yeah.
and I mean he's fresh into this.
Yeah.
He
gets
didn't
the
know.
thing, and he's like,
He didn't know.
no way. and was
Oh no, he
super
knew.
excited.
He knew what it was.
He took it home and framed it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
in a
nice.
frame. It's hanging on his wall
Nice.
I talk about
Smart
people
man.
in the sport. Like Jody is ate up with the sport.
now. Oh yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
is, and actually, it's just like, it's incredible.
I mean,
But-
you can't ask for a better day. You know, you go out there, you get an ace, and then you win a tilt. You know,
Yeah.
there's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
Speaking of tilts, I think it's on Tuesday next week. Julian's gonna have some
July
in
27th.
store.
That
In-store
new,
only.
that Metaplastic.
Yeah.
I've been seeing stuff about. There's a big release with them, and
Yeah, he's got a couple of them
Thursday.
next Tuesday.
next
Next
27th.
Tuesday.
27th.
Tuesday.
In store
That's
only.
league night. I get
Oh,
off. I get off at
well, I'll get
12:30.
you some.
I get off at 12:30 though. I don't, have
I
to
don't
be
know
there
how
till
many he
5:30.
has, but I'm
Right.
pretty sure it was a limit one per customer. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
You got to show up to get it. You can't
Oh,
reserve it
man.
online.
In store only.
Yeah.
In store only. That's what they
In-store
said.
only.
Yeah. The
I like it.
Shameless plug going to
Shameless
plug.
Julian there. You know.
Well, Julian sponsors us, so
Yeah.
he is he's definitely our favorite.
Well, he officially told us that we are a part of Team ADG after that tournament we set up.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
We told him we're
said,
like,
said him and Tristan were talking about it. There's like, yeah, with all the help, I think they're part of Team ADG now. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
we told him. I said, you need help with the tournament. You always had Jess there helping you with stuff.
yeah,
Call us, man. We'll do whatever you need us to.
yep.
You guys
Well,
made
he's
T
always
signs,
welcome
didn't you?
on here for sure.
yeah, that's what we helped him out with some like T signs for the Appalachian Classic he had out there at Vets there recently, and helped him with that and water and just little things we pitch. Because actually, I got a hold of him a couple days before the event, and I was just because I was like, hey, anything want to pitch in and help out, and work's been real busy, but I'm like, hey, I can make some time. It's like, what can we help with? And a couple days before, he's just like, I'm actually logging distances now. He's like, want to do T signs? Yeah, we can do that, and help with water.
I was at the beach. I couldn't do anything.
He was at the
Yeah.
beach all that week, but then
Didn't get to
literally.
play.
He didn't get to play, unfortunately. But like all of that week leading up to it, actually, Julian stays like it's been awesome because John and Brittany. Tons of people have actually gone. I guess I don't want to. John, you mentioned John and Brittany. I think maybe Boozer might. There's all kinds of people that have gone up and actually helped him getting the course all prepped and everything.
Josh Dick and Travis Dick both did a concrete tee pad for 10 and
Yeah.
mowed and weed eated
Yeah.
in and around 10.
That's what
down through
I shouldn't even start the name because, like I said, I don't remember all the names. But Julian was
Yeah.
saying he's just like, man, flat out, like he is. It's like everybody really pitched in this week. He goes, and most of it wasn't me saying like, hey, can you come help with this? It was people saying like, hey, I trimmed out there a little bit on this, or hey, I worked on that. And like you said, hey, and of course all the things have been going on out there, and it's just like, I just it's nice. That course is local for me, and obviously it's where it might not be in the very first place. OVU was first place I played, but that's like
original OVU.
original OVU.
Yeah.
But that was
the OG days.
but that's definitely, like I said, it was awesome. The contributions from everybody. Again, an example of the community and everyone looking to pitch in, and obviously not just that, everything building up to it, but helping the day of, and of course Josh Van Dale's really been helping with helping Julian with the store and with the
Yeah,
everything
I saw him
lately,
out
so,
there.
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's great to
a
see
few
him
weeks ago.
out and getting involved again.
Me too.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm definitely glad to see him.
It's like a whole new crew of people
There is.
taking over. I like it.
I'm loving it too.
Yeah.
I know.
Keep everybody
I know
together,
Jim
like we
has
talked
definitely
about before.
watched me be like super frustrated. You guys have seen it, you know, and this year and the last year have like just warmed my heart like I can't even tell you. You know, watching this like the actual disc golf family grow. I've watched the disc golf family grow forever, where it's a bunch of players, but. We don't need more throwers in disc golf. We need more workers.
Stick picker uppers.
Yeah. And there's a lot more today
And
than
people
there was
putting on
4 years
tournaments
ago,
at
you know?
PHS.
Yeah.
Use your
All of it.
influence where you can, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Spreading the word, and like I said, getting everybody spread the word. Period about the sport. Like that just it just leads to so much. And
I agree. It's been fun. I don't know. Watching the growth in the last couple of years, it's sometimes growth is painful, and some of it has been painful. There's always going to be someone to ruin everything, but the best part for me has definitely been watching the people who have gotten in and like really embraced all of it. The coming out and helping, sticking around for tournaments and cleaning up after and all that. I don't really see like every tournament I've been to this year. Most of them just filming, but I mean, every single one of them, there's been help, people helping with every, single aspect of it, which has been really nice to see. I know you guys have watched Scott run tournaments around here, and they've kind of, I've kind of watched them just get a little smaller, and I talk to Scott a lot, and he's getting older, he's at least 8 years older than me. He's not going to be able to do it forever,
Wow.
It is old. It's super
I'm
old.
just
If
kidding,
you're
I'm
older than me, it's real old.
Speaking of him, what do we gotta do to get some keys to baskets so we can change up vets a little bit?
Good luck with that.
Travis has keys.
I was going to say Travis
God,
might have
Travis.
them. Yeah.
So we were talking about it. I think the last time I went and played at vets, because I've been busy with soccer and everything. I think the last time I played at vets was Easter.
Oh, wow.
And then we played this weekend for his birthday, and nothing was changed.
Yeah.
We got like 4 locations for every basket.
Yeah.
For every, every
It might be
hole.
time.
Well, last time, once the gate opens, 11 goes long, and
Yeah,
12 will go out deeper where it was. Which 12 deeper was kind of like, I don't care if it's still stays
Yeah,
still
I'm
short, but
12
but,
goes
but the variety on some of that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's
Right.
I that's what I liked about that course was we'd
I'll
go
get on him.
we'd go play 3 times a week, and we'd go, get used to it, and you're like, okay, I know where to throw.
As soon as you get it honed in.
And then you like go to throw it, and you're like, well, shoot, where's the basket? Like it's not where it was before.
We're talking about you, Scott. I hope you're listening.
But yeah, you said that about the seeing people pitching in and the help with that. The nice thing, you encounter certain people along your travels in the sport of like, okay, I'm not a fan, or like, oh man, that guy. Not most of what I feel like I've been around in the now 5 years I've been into, it's like the people that aren't in it for the right reasons, it seems to kind of weed itself out a little bit, or kind of
Real fast.
It kind of you realize, all right, they'll get into it, they'll make a big splash, and then it's like, that you see them start to flake because they're not in it for the same reasons the rest of the disc golf family is.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something I've
I
noticed.
agree. That's definitely something I love about. I recently started dating someone. I have never had a fear of introducing someone I'm dating to my disc golf family ever.
Mm-hmm.
If there is someone who decides to act an ass, then everyone else is going to talk trash about them.
Yeah.
which kind of happened last weekend. But it always works itself out in disc golf, and I really have enjoyed watching how those people get weeded out. Some of them come back, and I want them to come back because I feel like if they got weeded out and they come back, they're a whole different person.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes they're not, but every time I've ever seen them come back, they're a different person, and they know what's expected from that disc golf family.
Yeah.
And all it really is just get along. If you have a beef, take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not on the disc golf course.
No, there's a collective goal, and that's literally first off, I think. And again, sports always the have fun thing, but like in disc golf, really, it's like, okay, I'm in it to have fun. I'm in it. This has been a life release for 5 years of literally just go out, but also like I enjoy the balance of competition and fun. I enjoy the balance and competition and fun that all of it has with it. But that's like one of the big things. And you were saying that about the people that like I said, want to be for things, or even as the sport has grown, obviously its social media presence has grown, and that just attracts more trolls, unfortunately, things like that.
Yeah.
And that's what Andrea is a huge fan of. She follows Hannah Macbeth, like crazy, and it's one of those like. And some people could be like, oh, you just love her because it's Paul's wife. They're like, Hannah and Andrea, I think, are about like the same person. And so literally, Andrea follows anything Hannah. She's like, I would do the same thing. Like, and it's like, actually would. It's like kind of crazy, but she posts.
How many times I've been tagged on Instagram on things.
She's trying to win
a giveaway.
Trying to win something.
Tag three friends and follow
God.
us.
Yeah.
It's always me.
Hannah. Andrea, I was able to actually, like, not even a month or two before I actually proposed to her back in December, I was able to get a hold of her, one of her Let's Party discs that she had done in like the first run of them.
Yeah.
But like Andrea's like, she just no way she wants to do that. She's like, no, I have to. But she's like everything possible trying to get another one. Of course, she's had like another drop of them, and actually, me and Andrea and Logan are going to go we're going to Deglow this weekend.
Oh, nice.
We're going to leave tomorrow afternoon, go up, stay the night, and we're going to be there for Sunday. Well, she's got some party thrashers that are going to be there. And so we're like, Andrew's like, oh, do you think they're going to have one? Do you think there's still going to be left? I'm like, we'll do what we can. But she's like, she goes, you know what? Like, I really want to get one. She's like, I really just want to meet Hannah too. I was like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to make it happen. Like, and it's looking forward to that. But that's the thing is that,
awesome.
she, back to where I started with that topic though, Hannah she put a post on there at one point, and it was just kind of an inquiring post about literally people's opinions about Eagle McMahon's wins being on golf courses, ball golf courses, which again, the man can throw a mile. That's obviously flat out. It makes sense. That's easier on a ball golf course, but at the same time, like he's showed what he can do otherwise. And she put an inquiring question out. Well, one person takes it a different way and all that, and basically people blew her up on it. And I was doing something with work one day, and I looked down. I ended up a little bit later looking at my phone, and I have texts where she had sent me a screenshot. Andrea had sent me screenshots from where Hannah had. Unfortunately, she had this like chain of tweets that was like, for this, like I'm going to step away from Twitter for the time being. It's like you said, the trolls that have come into the sport for absolutely not right reasons, and don't really even. The context can be taken however it was as far as in that tweet, but like she clarified it flat, like, hey, this is what it was, and she had said, I just want everybody's thoughts, which of course, because she's Paul's wife, everybody thought flat out, oh man, she's definitely talking. No, absolutely, she's not talking trash because everybody else is out there, and everybody knows the obvious of seeing how it's occurred. It's just the facts. These are where his big wins were at. And and so it's like all these things that occur with it, and she just flat out said, and like I said, it blew up just so much because of people that trolls on the internet are one thing, but like trolls in the sport, when it's, again, because of, like we talked about, the disc golf family as a whole, it seems that we all have this collective goal overall, and when people come in there to fight that, the sport seems to usually have a way to be able to kind of work that out, or kind of work those people out, or like I said, deflect them away, only for them to come back a better version or kind of more accepting of it. And that was just that was hard for her, but she hated it for Hannah to see it happening. And it's like, of course, I'm hating it for Andrea because she hates it. It's like all that chain of events up, but it was just flat out like, no, like for everything this sport has done for us and for, like I said, for those people, and obviously, regardless of how Hannah and Paul, everything, how they've ended up together, disc golf brought that couple together, and all these things that, flat out, all these things that occur, and it's just, like I said, it was hard to see like that stuff happening, but at the same time, like I said, when it comes to the community as a whole, everybody knows, everybody's there for the right reasons, and like I said, there's just everything has that 1%, but at the same time, it's
it's been
Fangirl.
Yeah.
She's listen.
That's awesome.
Hannah Macbeth, if you will listen to this post, please. we're coming to see you this weekend, Andrea. Andrea probably get mad at me. I'll have to show her this later. But she's like, Matt, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what she's talking about. She goes, I don't know what I'm going to do. I was like, what if I do? What am I going to do when I do meet Hannah tonight? You're going to say hi. You're going to enjoy it. Like, I'm of course, I'm sitting there visualizing. She's going to freeze. Like, what's going to happen? She's but no, like, she's excited. She's ecstatic for the opportunity. So, yeah, it's like I said, and we're actually, kind of one of those things, again, buying into the events, we're going to D-Glow. Just, again, it's 5 hours. So it's like, all right, that's a drive. But, like, we're going up Friday afternoon, evening. We're going to get there. We're going to spend the day Saturday, come home. Saturday is actually Logan's birthday.
Yep.
And then I think in middle of August, we're talking about possibly trying to go to Idlewild. Again, maybe we won't push we got a lot of things going on around that time, but possibly try to go to that. And then actually me, Logan, Andrea, and Jody, we actually bought passes to go to USDGC.
Nice.
So, like, talk about fangirls, like, we're bought, like, we're sold.
Yeah.
We've been sold on sport for a while, but, like, we now have a little more of a group to go do these things. And,
But
someone's a little busy, unfortunately, with all this other stuff. But
it's small enough of a community to when you show up to that thing, you're gonna rub elbows.
it's so accessible.
With
Yeah,
every one of those people.
Right. And you look at the rules and they flat out have rules that just says, like, hey, as a courtesy, don't try to bug players before round. You can go on a DGN broadcast an event and Paige Pierce is signing a disc right before, like, literally a minute before she's about to tee off. Someone's just standing there. She's like, can we sign that? And, like, flat out. And again, certain people, and we all lock in. They all lock in, but at the same time, they know they know they wouldn't be there without that support, without those people there. And so anytime someone wants it, most of them, they're willing to do that. And like I said, but yeah, I've heard so many of them, they're so approachable.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what after the round, and this is their livelihood. So yeah, they're there to take care of business. But after the round, everybody talks about how approachable they are and how much, how enjoyable the events are. I'm excited. Again, we're going to be there so quick, so briefly, but just to, like, have the opportunity to be around them and see how it actually happens, like, it's just going to be awesome.
Yeah, definitely approachable. I've met a bunch of pros. No one's ever told me no. Or even wait. I need to, I need to do something before I sign this.
Right.
They just immediately sign it.
Yeah. I mean,
Like you said, that helps with the size of the size of the sport where it is right now. It's in such a sweet spot. It definitely took off in COVID in a lot of ways, but still the kind of some of the throttling, kind of a little bit of the kind of pacing back in, it's allowed it to still be what it has been. So.
That for me, it's that the growth, I don't know that it will ever be able to overtake, the old school spirit of disc golf.
Yeah.
That we're all friends here.
Right.
There's competition, but we're not over competitive so that you hate someone when you leave.
Yeah.
There's none of that. We pick up our own garbage. We come and help, clean the course up. Those are all going to, I think, always be part of it because it has always been part of it.
With all the land around the nation, around the world, obviously it's like, as much as you can say, like, oh, the sport took off. Well, guess what? There was all this room for these courses to go in, and that's all that more room for these people to use those. You don't have everybody flocking to, 30 sites to do it all over. It's like literally it's able to, as the sport grows, its footprint can grow and, like I said, not really overwhelm it and consume itself. Which trying to get into any kind of tournaments when tournaments first opened back up last year with the code regulations,
crazy.
That was crazy. If you weren't on there either that minute or already on, like, the pre-list, basically saying, like, hey, I want to be on this, like, you weren't getting in them. But obviously at this point, it's kind of it's not completely back to normal, but you're able to get in there and you're able to get in for the most part for these things. And obviously that's one of those things that if that had gone on for too long, that would discourage people from getting into it too much because you're like, I want to play in these events, but I can't because people come from all over. And there was even the BCB Open we've gone to a couple times when it first opened up, not just last year, actually this year, the one in the spring. Andrew and I ended up going to a tournament actually in Lancaster area, but that's an inside joke. But we ended up going to a tournament there because she was able to get registered for BCB, but there was only like a couple total people registered from West Virginia in that event because of where Pennsylvania and Ohio straddle the Weirton area right there. Like everybody from those states was flocking to take off that opportunity because they still couldn't have the events. West Virginia had some things able to open up and all that. So that filled up those events. But again, because that was occurring, but then we were able to find another one we were able to go to. And that's, again, how many times can you look at how many times in, think 10 years ago, how many times could you look at a schedule and be like, oh, I can't go to this one, but I can go to this one. And it's like now it's like you have options all over the place. And it's again, we want that to just keep growing, to have more options, but at the same time, that's cool to have that ability to.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I would like to see as it grows is a little more communication between clubs.
Yes. Absolutely.
Especially like, right around this area. There should never be 2 tournaments on the same day.
Oh no.
Not with local people. And that's one of the biggest things I would like to shout out to all the people running tournaments around here is, like, let's get on the same page, people.
Yeah.
Like, there's more than enough weekends for all of us that around here that run tournaments to do so. Multiple. We can all run multiple and still, fit them all in.
Yeah, like you said, it's doable. And
in the right time of the year, too. I mean, there's more than enough weekends. Yes, there might be a couple that will run over, maybe some Huntington stuff or, maybe Ashland and Charleston and stuff like that. But I think at this point there's enough growth and enough people signing up for tournaments that, running a tournament the same as someone that far away is not going to be a problem.
Right.
I think there's enough people to fill both of them up, honestly.
It's not going to be a problem, but if we had at least a few weekends out of the year where there's like, hey, this is a big boy. Like, this is a big one that all people can feed to. Yeah. It's going to only help to grow the community as a group and not just smashing, like I said, really kind of.
I think, too, that, if you take a whole group of people from another club, down to, Ashland or whatever for the Ashland Open or the Van Man Open or whatever, that shows support to Van Man and his group, then they're going to show, support right
just like
back because he definitely does that type of thing. Yeah. And I love seeing that kind of stuff. And it's the biggest reason I started the podcast was, hopefully I can get, everybody eventually that's doing something in disc golf on here, talking about, maybe their idea of what they would like to see happen. And then eventually we'll all know what everybody's wanting to see, you know. The funny thing is like we're all on the same page, you know. There's always just a little detail that seems to kind of hitch things around here. Right. But I think it just needs more exposure, of everyone's ideas, and maybe not in the same room every time, you know, because sometimes in the same room people get, their pride gets involved and who knows what gets involved. So that was kind of part of the idea behind the podcast. And
I mean, you're not going to like everyone, but
you're not going to like everyone's opinions, but at the same time, like,
we're adults. You can get along with each other.
Be nice.
Be nice, kids.
Yeah, I think sometimes, if you see someone's idea, you like the idea, but maybe not their opinion. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's fine. You know what I mean? And that's probably a lot of times, right? Yeah.
Being able to mesh them makes a huge difference there.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing I find with disc golf is that I think with something like this, we can grow it where everyone is in communication. But, today I find that people don't communicate like they used to. You know what I mean? Like everyone's texting and stuff like that.
We're able to communicate instantly, but we also aren't as willing to just the reaching out or things like that. It's
people even
it's different.
Laugh
it is different
awkwardly. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, did I just laugh? And it's just like you can laugh, like let it out, But I've noticed like a few of the conversations I've had in the last month with people that I just met, brand new. I was just like, wow, this is the most awkward thing I've ever done. And I'm just like, hey, whatever, we can talk, we can laugh. And they were just so awkward. I was like, I can tell you haven't met someone new in a long time, you know? And if you did, it was probably on your phone. And that, I think that's part of it too. So I think with, something like this, when you have individuals that can come and give their ideas and opinions, and then, the broad group can see it, but not really necessarily respond in person. Sometimes I hope that maybe that helps too. And you guys are always welcome to come back on here. Always.
Have a blast.
I've enjoyed both times.
More information coming a little bit sooner, hopefully. But Vienna Rec actually, they're doing a disc golf league. Nice. They're starting like a juniors disc golf league.
That's sweet.
To go along with the course in Vienna Julian just put in.
Nice.
We actually have a 6-person committee now that's, we're in charge of voting on things.
Sweet.
And we have to meet once a month and stuff.
That's awesome.
So like I'm at the beach and I get a phone call from Julian. He's like, hey, you got a second? I'm like, yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah.
He's like, I know you were on the soccer committee there for a while, and I know things got a little rocky, but you know, I need someone that would be interested in stuff for us for disc golf. And I said,
That's awesome.
what do you need? And he's
I need you to second everything
Yeah.
I say.
I know.
he said,
Are you in
he's
my
like,
corner?
I need you to vote on
Yeah.
things. You know, we'll have a meeting once a month in the evening, and I need you to vote on stuff, and then like, you know, maybe if we do during our league, if you can put in scores. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, I can sit at school during my
He
plan
can
period.
sit and type stuff at school.
I got
Circle back.
plan period. I
Circle
could just
back.
type in numbers
Yeah.
real quick on an online system, and
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'm in. He's like, all right, cool.
Nice.
So I mean, he put out a thing on, made our little group on a Facebook Messenger, and
Nice.
messaged everybody, hey, this is what we're doing, blah blah blah, and someone's like, all right, what do you need? Like, what steps do you need in the immediate future? And he's like, well, we still got to get tee pads, we still got to get one basket put in, and we still got to do some clearing. And that next day, there's like 5 or 6 guys out at Indiana and the Jackson course clearing it off, putting in a basket.
That's sweet.
I mean, it's just instant. I mean,
Yeah.
you get people like that. You say one
Yep.
thing, you need help with it, and people are showing up. It's awesome.
It is.
And like you said, continuing to do. You said it last time. You said it this time. Continuing to do everything to bring these groups together, because that can seem so easy, but like we need to be able to continue to do that with all these groups together. And like I said, I'm just as guilty of it as far as not doing everything I've wanted to. And life can get in the way, but at the same time, like being able to get us more and more all together, because that 5 or 6 guys, like, okay, if you have 10 or 15 that are willing to do that on a regular basis all around the place, like, guess what can happen all around this county or down this area.
Quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You get 15 guys at a course, a lot of stuff gets done. If you can move them to the next course and do it again, every course ends up tip top.
And it's a couple. If you have that many people, it's a couple hours, because you just literally, hey, you take these few, you take these few, and just.
And then the other sweet thing I've learned is that when you go to these, these landowners like George Broughton, and you say like, "Hey, we have this idea to build a course on your property," and you can go look at all of our other courses, and they're all kept up. You know, it's huge. I mean, it's priceless, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do with 4 or 5 people.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, but I think, most of the courses around here are kept up really well. I haven't really done a ton of weed eating out at Broughton's, but I've organized enough people to take care of the things that need to be taken care of to keep him happy.
Yeah.
I will weed eat at some point. I know we have a tournament at some point, so.
You gotta be a little careful with the weed eating though, because if you send Dale off to weed eat behind one basket,
Yeah,
was-
right. Yeah, he'll open up the entire hole.
you're like, I remember through that fence.
Thanks,
You're like,
Dale.
oh, I'm glad he helped, but
Yeah.
I really didn't want him to take all that brush out of there. He did. He took every ounce.
Oh,
of
it was wide open. I was like, well, it's not hard anymore.
That's all right. Yeah.
But
It'll go back.
It-
Oh,
it
yeah,
did.
it did.
It
Yeah,
did.
like in 2 weeks or
Didn't
something.
know there was a water hazard back there, did you?
That's so
gosh.
true. Yeah. Well, actually, one more thing of news that this week I got called by the YMCA out at Broughton's,
Okay.
and they're going to actually have me start teaching disc golf classes,
Very
That's awesome.
which
nice.
I'm super excited about.
Very nice.
So
How do I sign up?
I know, right?
Unfortunately, as
Well,
of
I think
Tuesday,
it's
I'm now
yeah,
a
it's
novice rated
kids.
player.
I,
so.
I don't know that they're offering to adults. I think it's
Last
like
Tuesday, sorry.
5 to 17 or something like that is what
Yeah.
they're planning.
Matt's not had a good showing at tournaments lately. It's
Man,
You know?
I've put so much into the rest of the sport, and
That's
it's
right.
like, but literally, last Tuesday I went down to 847. So
Oh,
I'm gonna be
rough.
sandbagging the novice tournament. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm
Mine's been
celebrating.
going down. That's
Hey.
all.
to be honest, I didn't even repay for mine this year
Yeah,
because I
I didn't
knew
either.
with soccer I wasn't gonna have time. So I was
Yeah.
like, yeah,
I figured I'd film this
I'll
year,
pay
and there
mine.
was no point.
I'll pay
Yeah,
my fee. It's all right.
yeah, yeah.
I shot +8 at the Sasquatch on Tuesday, but I also pickaxed and shoveled for 3 hours before the round. So I was like, I don't
Hey,
care to
I feel
give
like-
up my $6 today.
I feel like I
knew
would
wasn't
take a
gonna-
+8 Sasquatch myself.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, I don't know. That definitely.
I haven't played it yet. Honestly, I need to go play.
I
What?
tried to go up there
Brutal.
for. What was I want? I tried to go for league, and then I had to meet. I had something happen. I literally told. I was like, man, 5:30. Like, I'm actually gonna work out. I could go up there, and
Something happened at 5, and
what did I end up? I don't even remember what I ended up doing.
I don't
But
know.
I was bummed because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make it to league this time. I'm gonna make it. And I think last weekend maybe last Tuesday.
We've had like 8 to 12 people since we switched it to 5:30,
Hey,
so
no
it's
big
been
deal.
working
It's
out
only
pretty
supposed
well.
to be 91 degrees on Tuesday. My wife's also going to be out of town, so you may see me. on
That's
Tuesday.
right. But Sasquatch is always 10 degrees cooler
It
because
is.
you're so deep in that holla.
Yeah,
I
fog
like to
there.
hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
When it was 100 degrees there a couple weeks
I
ago,
know
it
Justice
was like
is-
87.
Nice.
Okay.
Hmm.
I know Justice is climate controlled. Whenever we get to a certain point in the year when it hits 40 and below,
I refuse to go
Justice is
outside.
out.
Yeah.
Now,
I am a fair weather disc golfer.
Yeah.
The tournament we held, if I'd have stepped outside in the middle of the day and it was that hot, I would have said, you know what, I'll wait till tomorrow. But
but I haven't seen him truly tap out on like too hot because KVR of course
Yeah,
is
I
always
mean,
really
Oh,
hot.
yeah.
So, but
That was
I don't
brutal.
know. We'll see if he plays that card.
KVR is miserable most of the time.
It is.
It's ridiculous.
I kind of gave up on that one, unfortunately, but I don't know. The last time I played that one was at least 2 years ago, and halfway through the second round, and I was drinking water the entire time. I mean, just tons of water. I felt like at one point I was drinking, and I could feel it running out of my pores.
yeah.
I'm not even joking. Like it started coming out faster as I was drinking.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I must be like
Oh, wow.
horribly
There it goes.
dehydrated.
Was
That
that
was
same
a
throw literally just
scary
still
feeling.
sliding?
Yep.
Oh god, I saw
There
it
he
land.
is.
Yeah.
He went all the way down the
I
hill.
saw it land. I
Yeah.
looked away, and then I'm like, oh wait, it's still sliding.
So I did the ice bowl at Vets probably 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and it was
The
like,
16-degree one?
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
my
yeah. I have a
first tournament I ever played.
Yeah.
have
was
a-
that
snow on the
one.
ground.
Remember,
Yeah.
or,
2017 Ice Bowl. Yes.
the disc from that one with 16 degrees written on the back
Yeah.
of it.
and
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
was
Jim.
what hole was that?
We've talked about that one a few times on
Hole
here.
8, I think. I
Oh,
did
yeah.
the same thing. I threw a hammer up over top, and it hit, and it was a perfect shot. Literally landed under the basket on its top
Yeah.
and slid all the way back down the hill.
That
Like
disc
this
is
one,
Yeah,
yeah.
literally just like this.
It's just spinning. It
Yeah,
will
that
not
one
stop
went
because it's
forever.
still
Yeah, I
spinning.
remember
Yeah,
that one.
I watched it because I was like down in a ravine off to the right side of the basket, and I just tossed it up, and it slid almost all the way back down to the tee pad. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm glad I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see you Tuesday then. I don't have
Yeah,
anything else going on.
27, yeah.
I don't
I'll be
think
there.
there is.
too.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up, fellas.
Guys
I
got
appreciate
anything
you
else
guys
you
coming
wanna-
again. It
Well,
was fun. As
I know we didn't
usual.
really get to it, but that that James Conrad throw in that was
Yeah, we didn't
Oh,
talk about that
man.
again.
that was absolutely because I know we've been a few weeks away or several weeks away from it now, but like that was the worst part was that Andrea and I both had something on Saturday night and we couldn't watch it live.
Yeah. I
And
didn't
so
either.
then, but we said flat out, like
Oh.
both of us stayed off of social media, stayed off of anything. We're like, we're gonna watch the next day.
I almost ruined it.
He
I'm
sends
sitting
me
there
a text.
texting Him. I'm like,
He
oh
just
my
goes,
God.
he
Yeah.
goes, oh my God. He goes, please tell me you're watching this. I go, okay. So like, and we've been watching all the other rounds. We're like, we are not watching it today. We're watching tomorrow. Don't you say a damn word. And so literally, and the next morning, Andrew and I went to Moraine State Park up in Pennsylvania where they had Worlds there. What 2015?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
one of the courses. He's been wanting to play it forever. We're like, hey, let's go do it. And then I was going to mention to him that Andrew and I could watch the round on the way up. He literally goes, he's like, I'll drive so you guys can watch the round. We're like, great.
Perfect.
So they're like driving up the whole way. We're sitting there, and he'd already watched it live. So he's sitting there driving. And of course, he's like, man, you ain't gonna believe this. Like he's waiting for
Yeah.
us to get there.
Yeah.
And we kept going. Of course, randomly we'd say stuff, but like nothing to give anything away. And we got to the end there, and we were just like, oh my God! Like, and of course, yeah, it took that to force the potential playoff, but it's
Yeah.
just
I
like.
mean, it hit ESPN. It was at one point it was trending like one of the lower spots, but it was trending on Twitter. I mean,
Nice.
it
Yeah.
kind of it grew. I mean, I think
That's
that
awesome.
something crazy like that really brings a lot of people into the sport. Which
I
is
sure
fun.
hope so. I sure hope so.
James and I have already done
Yeah.
a separate video
Oh yeah, we did our video on
about
it.
the
Yes.
Immaculate. Be out of bounds.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah, this though right here, and obviously from Paul's standpoint, watching it live, and the one he'd actually, I think maybe even drifted out of bounds the other day, but like that one,
Yeah.
he drifted as far as possible to give him. So he had the best angle he could possibly have to
Which is
birdie if
why
he
I
needed
didn't
to.
understand why he didn't
would've
go
gone
for it.
Right.
Yeah.
But-
If James wouldn't have been in such a precarious position.
But once
Yeah.
the thing was, once James had to lay up his next shot, then it was like, okay, yeah, like you said, flat out, he's going to. Paul just knows, hey, I have to make it to where he has to make the spectacular happen.
Yeah.
If
Right.
I at least if I match him shot for shot, what's the chances? What's the percentage that actually goes in any other time? Because right there, and you saw the scores, James runs that and it doesn't hit that basket and runs OB. He now drops to third or fourth, or he drops. Like he's not sitting there that close to winning or to a lead. And so like, yeah, obviously from his standpoint, he's there to win the world. He's not there to get second in the worlds. So, and again, if he had been somebody younger or someone maybe it's like, man, I know I'll have chances later, then okay, maybe he does lay up. But yeah, Paul, he's able to make this the most routine version of this whole anybody's had probably all weekend.
If he thought there was a chance James was going to make it, he would not have just.
Well, there's OB long on that too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he runs that with that way he did, if that's a foot right, he's taking third, fourth. I don't know, and who knows what happens after that, but it's just incredible.
I would have to say that I kind of feel like James played to win it and Paul didn't. And because if Paul threw for the birdie, guaranteed he wins.
Oh yeah, well
if he lands in,
right,
he's winning.
Paul,
I was super surprised he didn't when he didn't.
From Paul's standpoint,
goosebumps every time.
You're right. He didn't
right
play
up the back
it to
of
win
my neck.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
From Paul's
Especially when he
standpoint,
starts
you're right.
running.
He didn't
That's
play to
when I
win.
get the
Now,
goosebumps.
if this would have been for his first or second worlds,
yeah,
maybe he flat out knows I got to be aggressive the whole way.
Right.
Because that's the only way you can control it is if you're aggressive the whole way.
This guy's my favorite.
But from that standpoint right there, knowing like, all right, I know that, and you look at the putts Paul made all day. Look at the shots he had throughout the round. Like he did everything possible, and James just made that run like to get there. And obviously he put himself in this position that you just really like can't imagine. There was a Hannah Macbeth sighting, just to clarify. Andrea.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's of course, but the beauty of it's all like the reactions, the Big Germ reaction, the Calvin reaction, the Calvin one, the Patrick shot.
I know.
Well, I mean, that's what I love. I mean, he runs up there to go get that, and as he runs to get it, everyone is meeting him out there. I mean,
former world champions.
Yeah,
running out
Ricky
to give him a
out
hug.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just awesome. I mean,
seeing this come full circle too, which again, James makes the move to MVP. You're like, all right, there's gonna be some time, or maybe some. We watched the live of the All-Star event. The All-Star event back in, was that March? I think maybe March was. That's his first tournament. You see him show with MVP, and you could see some flashes, but you could tell like he is feeling all this out. Like he has, he's still working with all this. So within this one season, to see it all come through and be like, see what has happened with it. That's awesome. I mean, and like you said,
the astonishment and everybody in the crowd.
Right.
I mean,
even that first reaction of Paul, you see where he's just like, "Oh my, he made
it." I had my phone in my hand.
That was my favorite.
As soon as that shot was done, I was ready to.
Here's the Calvin, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Like I had my phone in my hand. I was ready to just like turn it off and set it down because like I knew it was done. I knew it was over.
Everything tells you that
that didn't go in.
Yeah.
And then it went in, and I'm just like, at that point I knew too. Like all that momentum, Paul is like.
Oh, reeling.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what to do at that point. The flag guys are out here just dancing around with their flags. They're throwing them all over the place.
The fact that Paul did still put this in a position to make it a tap-in, like obviously that took. I mean, he's obviously one of the best in the world, but to be able to do that even, and then then to lead into have to do this now.
Yeah,
well, James got so lucky that 16 was the first playoff hole because he had already aced it, and he's throwing the best line on it. That forehand is such an iffy throw. I don't know why so many threw that.
And I think Henry said he'd parked it the other time, and he just literally it was and it. This one, again,
that's my favorite view.
It is.
He's throwing a putter. Right, he was throwing a putter on this one up over that tree. So yeah, that backhand he has to get it as high and floaty as he did, and then fall in there. That's awesome. But what's to say again, as juiced up as James was? What's to say he doesn't do what Paul does essentially, where James dumps that thing to the right, puts that much more on it. I mean,
and a bad ground play.
But like
too.
you said,
Paul's disc landed on its edge and just pushed it out of bounds.
Yeah.
Somebody made the comment at one point, which again, based on how Paul has always got, lots of times he's aggressive to where. He wants to ace that thing. Like he's trying to ace that first playoff hole because it's like, all right, like you said, he wasn't maybe as necessarily playing to win the other in regulation there, but he gets to here. It's like, I'm putting this in, and again, unfortunate for him, it didn't work out. But
I don't know if this video has it, but my second favorite part of this entire thing is the dude in the American flag.
He dives right here in a minute.
Just sprints
right here.
Just
no,
Zoe's excited.
He dives in, or maybe it already happened.
No, those guys were already there.
He takes a big drink. It's gonna happen.
Oh, it's coming
He takes
up,
a big drink and spits it on Jordan. Here he comes.
They're right there in the
Yeah,
background.
there's
There
the
it is.
guy right there. Yeah.
This guy
see that
just
again.
launches himself in, and like these guys are just out here having a blast. You know, this golf community is just—they're having so much fun watching the craziest thing. I mean, I don't know that I'll ever see a shot like that in disc golf ever again.
Best one I've ever seen.
I mean,
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Best two I've seen in a row. I mean, one, back to back.
Oh, you were actually watching the John Boy reaction. I bet that was funny in itself,
Uh-huh.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've watched some of those, man. Gosh, what was that? I watched one recently. It had me cracking up.
well, it's just one of those things where like every single time it pops up on my Facebook or on my Twitter, I'm clicking the video to watch it because
Yeah.
I want to watch
Oh,
it go
yeah.
in again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've seen probably 100 different videos of it.
Yep. I've definitely clicked on all of them.
Yeah, we
I
came,
even
we came
subscribed to
right
a
over and
few
made a
new
video.
ones. Yeah, we did.
Nice.
All right. Well, we're definitely closing out now.
All right.